You're about to experience something wonderful.
So fun. I love Dame Taft's voicemail messages.
Let's hear from Dame Taft.
It's the Dame Taft Movie Show, hosted by my nephew, Screww.
Thank you, Auntie. Yes, it is the Dame Taft Movie Show. I am Screww. Please welcome the star of the show, filmmaker and author Harrison Smith, a.k.a. H-Bomb. Good evening, H-Bomb. We got a great show tonight, jam-packed. We're going to get right to it.
Boys, oh boys, we have a guest today.
We got a guest tonight, H-Bomb. We've got none other than Christian Bladt. Christian Bladt.
Yeah,
Christian Bladt from Who Are These Broadcasters? From the Bladtcast on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and comment. And your podcast, 100 Songs That Define Heavy Metal.
Yes, I produced that show. I co-created it with Brian Slagle, who's the CEO of Metal Blade Records, and he knows everybody in heavy metal, and we have a lot of fun with that show. Thank you. Thank you, young man, for supporting 100 Songs That Define Heavy Metal.
I've listened to many episodes. I only wish you'd check with me on some of those song selections, but that's okay. Quick question for you, CB.
What's a dazzling urbanite like you doing in a rustic setting like this?
It's because you have those photos of me in Hackamania, and I could not say no, because you know what I was up to, and it was way worse than what Granny was up to.
Did you ever return the key card I loaned you? I don't want to get billed for it.
I did actually, but that saved me $40 every time I left that casino because I had driven there. So thank you, I appreciate that. So I owe you at least $160.
You are welcome. H-Bomb, CB here, he's a seasoned broadcaster, and although he seems mild-mannered and cuddly, he is not one with which to be trifled, as though exampled here.
I thought that the difference between me and you was the fact that you came on this show and nobody fucking talked the whole time you've been here because you don't shut the fuck up even once! Just like your boy KB, no one has talked since you've been here. No one has talked except Stevie motherfucking Lou. So give him $50.
I love it. My God, that's a Howard Beale rant. It's great.
Well, you know what? I had all I could stand up until that point, and I could not take it anymore. You know, it was.
You went after the right person. Now, H-Bomb, I've been pleading with CB for several months to appear on the show. Pleading, he always rebukes me, rebuffs me, until finally he said, all right, but with the proviso that we celebrate women. To which I responded,
go shit in your hat.
But I relented. Well, actually, Auntie made me relent. She says we need to talk more about women's movies on the show. So that's exactly what we're going to do tonight, gentlemen. We're going to talk about women's movies. And we start this segment with a little sing-along. Join in, boys. Freckles on her nose, diddle be a girl came riding into town one day, diddle she was quite a sight. It's Pippi Longstocking, hey ho ho ha hee ha ha. It's Pippi Longstocking, there's no one like her. Happy as can be, diddle Pippi tells you stories. You just wait and see, tra-la-la-la, she's quite a girl. Sing it! A house, an old funny house. A monkey and a horse, a suitcase full of gold and coins. Sing it! Never, ever, ever find a girl's girl so strong.
Sick? Are you sick? What is it? All your mothers are gonna die. They don't start singing. I'm gonna kill all your mothers. So I'm gonna
sing. Okay, fine. Sorry about that.
It's very tough to sing when you don't know the tune, or perhaps there is no tune.
I was gonna say there's a tune.
You boys have never
I remember
gained
this.
Swedish citizenship.
stuff of early HBO crap. Oh.
Yeah, I always thought that this was just the kid from Pete's Dragon in a wig. I'm still not convinced that that's not the case.
H-Bomb, saw it in the theater.
Did I see it in the theater?
I saw it. No, you didn't. I saw it in the theater.
I was going to say, no, I did not. But wow, you did? I caught like 2 of them on HBO way back in the day.
Yeah.
And didn't they remake it? Didn't they remake it remake one recently?
Yeah, but those remakes are all crap. Yeah, I go with the original. All right, gentlemen, that's just a primer. Just a primer. Let's get on to the meat of our show here.
Evelyn tried food.
Ed?
Probably checking you into a loony bin.
Then she met a new friend.
Mrs. Cleo Threadgood, 82-year-old widow, imagine that.
And told her a story that began long ago.
Does the name Itchy Threadgood ring a bell? No, ma'am, I don't think so. You'd remember her. Itchy and her friend Ruth ran the Whistle Stop Cafe. Itchy was a character, all right.
You ever touch her again, I'll kill you.
Well, I sure as hell scared him, didn't I? But how anybody could have thought she murdered that man is beyond me.
You ain't fooling me, girly girl. You're in a whole mess of trouble. You understand?
Did anybody really think she did it? Some said yes, some said no. No wonder. You didn't kill Ed now, did you? Not yet. I feel better because all these people have lived, as long as you remember. Friends, best friends.
Yes, gentlemen, fried green tomatoes from 1991. CB, your thoughts on this motion picture?
My thoughts on this motion picture are that you have to look at a movie like this in the moment in which it was released, because I feel like it hasn't aged well. You know, there's the flashback portion, there's the present day portion, and it all just feels like crap. So it's really a terrible story when you break it down, you know. And a name like Iggy, it's really hard to shrug off a lot of the particulars about this. You know, it always comes back to, for me, the scene where, you know, Kathy Bates gets into the minor fender bender and she brags about having more insurance. And I was just like, this is really just you. Well, I don't know what language we can use here, and I don't want to offend your aunt, but let's just say, you know, you're just being an old crow, I guess, is a nice way to put it. And has there been a movie with so many completely unlikable people? Sure, there has, but it's hard to think of one that is as celebrated as this.
I didn't see the movie. I just wanted to see if you did. Homo. No, I'm kidding. I did watch the movie. I've
had a wife for a very long time.
I know. I envy you. H-Bomb, your thoughts on fried green tomatoes?
Well, I got to tell you, man, that was a wonderful summation. I got to sit through this on a plane ride back from Los Angeles. Yes, so I was a captive audience, and it left little to no impression on me. I was at the point where I was really sick of seeing Jessica Tandy. It was one of those things where it's like, hey, we need I think she was dead by the time, but man, they probably would have stuck her in Titanic as the old Rose if they could have. And of course, you know, I'm sure I'm going to get shit for saying this, but it's the whole just men are scum and men are evil, and you know, girl power, and you know, when in doubt, just kill the bad guy and you know, then eat him.
If I wanted a film that truly celebrated girl power in an unoffensive way, I would rent
Spice World,
Girls, starring
Spice
all
World,
of the Spice Girls. Yes, of course.
H-Bomb. How did I guess that before he said it? I want
Well,
kudos.
I did use the term girl power, so that might have been the tell.
And I'm gonna get shit for this because like, oh, misogynistic and you hate women and what women can't have
you hate
power
women
and you can't do. It's just. I agree with you. It's not a well-told story, and it's overly celebrated. And at the time, it was like the be-all to end-all movie to see, and I got trapped on a plane watching it.
Now, I don't want to, make light, but as you were on the plane, heading cross country, did you think, man, if only this was one of those flights early in the morning on the 11th of September 2001, I wouldn't have to finish the rest of this movie.
Too soon.
It's 25 years, Screw. It's okay.
Oh man,
this is actually the sell-by date. This is the year where I can make that joke.
The sell-by date.
Last year, I wouldn't have said it.
All right, I can't believe what I'm hearing. You were right, H-Bomb. You hate women. CB, you both hate women. This movie is not half bad. By the way, thanks for mentioning Spice World, CB. A very fun movie.
So a lot of great cameos in that movie.
It was just that
I can tuck my pud to it.
Tandy was everywhere from like 1987 through, I mean, from Cocoon, arguably on. And it was just
Cocoon, Batteries Not Included, this.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Yes, thank you. Driving Miss Daisy. And it was like, her and Wilford Brimley were both in Cocoon, and then we couldn't get rid of them until they died.
Yes.
I thought I was the critical one, but no, boys, I appreciated this movie. Only saw it in preparation for this show, and it started off a little bit rough, but there are things in here worth noting as an impartial, objective cineast. Okay, the score can suck my dick. Thomas Newman, acclaimed composer from a family of Newmans, Alfred Newman and Randy Newman. They also did Skyfall, Shawshank, Green Mile, but I don't like the score. It's one of those too jaunty, perky.
Well, the difference is you just listed a bunch of good movies. This is not a good movie, so it doesn't matter what the score.
Hush up now. This is my turn. Not a great director. He does okay with the material. A guy named John Avnet. CB, I bet you're familiar with two of his finer movies. Two Al Pacino classics, 88 Minutes and Righteous Kill.
I can't say that I am, but I do know he did Risky Business and Less Than Zero. Those are films
I think it's a producer. He did
producer,
those.
You know what? Yes, actually, you're right. So
Paul Brickman did. He directed Risky Business.
Wow, I now have clicked through,
right.
and the movies he's directed. I can see why he didn't direct more movies.
Yeah, actually, the director always gets the blame. But in 88 Minutes and Righteous Kill, I blame the script. So I'm going to lay off him. Let's see. Jessica Tandy, shame on you too. Shame on. She's one of the celebrated ladies of the stage and screen. Shame on the both of you. Her last movie, I believe, was Nobody's Hero in 1994. Nobody's Fool. Excuse me. Nobody's Fool in 1994 with Paul Newman. Jessica
Well, she's
Tandy.
also Nobody's Hero, so it's fine.
Oh, you chauvinist. Got a pretty good cast there. Gaillard Sartain plays Kathy Bates' husband. He was the big bopper in the Buddy Holly story.
Hello, baby.
The best musical biopic of them all.
La Bamba? Yeah, you're probably
no, the Buddy Holly story. Grace Zabriskie shows up in this. Stan Shaw, he's that big black buck we saw in the preview there. He kind of an echo of the character he played in The Great Santini. Tumor. Stan Shaw, big guy, good actor. Cool train scene there when Robin from Batman and Robin gets run over by a train. He gets taken out pretty early. There's some. So it takes place. Yeah, it flashes back and forward as Tandy here is telling Kathy Bates about these young friends, and Bates' character is initially very annoying, but she has a character arc. She grows and matures and becomes less of a drain on society. So I appreciated that. Would you call it a Southern Gothic? There is a body and a murder plot. Would this classify as?
I don't know. I don't know if it.
Probably not.
No, it doesn't have that hush hush sweet Charlotte feel to it.
I would
It's pretty
say
light. It's pretty light.
The most significant thing about this movie and why I do feel like it had to be made is I think before this movie, myself and maybe everyone in America thought Mary Stuart Masterson and Mary Louise Parker were the same actress. So if you put them in the same movie, you're like, well, they can't possibly be the same actress. Although I did see Michael B. Jordan play two characters in a recent movie called Sinners. So, but at that moment, I'm like, wait, these are two different chicks. Who knew?
Don't get me started on try-named celebrities. Let me say this again to all the listeners and viewers. You don't have to speak their middle names, okay? It's a power play. It's for their billing, for a union thing. It's redundant. Don't do it. Mary Parker and Mary Masterson star in the movie. I have to admit, I got choked up at the end. But this is about friendship, okay? Whether it's dudes or chicks, friendship. It's important. Now, this was based on a novel by Fannie Flagg. She co-wrote it. Fannie Flagg, a popular personality. She appears in Grease, Stay Hungry, the Schwarzenegger Jeff Bridges movie,
and Match Game 75.
Yes, and 3 episodes of The Love Boat. So maybe you two want to back up a little bit, walk it back, your criticism of the film, and lay a little praise where it's deserved. She was also on an episode of Fernwood Tonight and 5 Easy Pieces. So respect for her. Also, she knows her subject. All right? It's not contrived. Sure, it's slanted towards a woman's perspective. That's to be expected.
And that's fine.
Yeah. The co-writer on the screenplay was a broad named Carol Sobieski, who wrote the Kurt Russell, Kelly McGillis movie Winter People. Neither of you have seen. No. It's an okay movie. Yeah. It's okay. It's not the best Kurt Russell movie. Carol Sobieski also adapted the Bourne Identity TV miniseries with Richard Chamberlain.
Oh my God, my mom wore out that VHS, and I'm just gonna say only certain parts of it. We had to leave the room when she was watching it. So yes, I remember that one. I would say that's the good Bourne Identity, by the way. But maybe I'm in the minority.
Well, Richard Chamberlain, you can't go wrong with Richard.
No, you
Chamberlain.
cannot go wrong. Absolutely.
She also co-wrote The Toy. Remember The Toy, directed by Richard Donner, starring Jackie Gleason and Richard Pryor?
Richard Pryor,
yeah. You want to talk about HBO movies, H-Bomb. That was like literally every day you could see it was on like 30 times in a single month.
Yeah.
Painful movie.
That was a painful movie.
But two greats in the movie, so you can sometimes you can shrug it off because they're so great. And it is definitely not Richard Pryor's worst movie. It's his worst movie without Superman in it.
Right.
It's tough to pick a worst.
I was going to drop Superman, but yeah.
Superman 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Any positive words on this movie before we move on? H-Bomb, anything positive about it?
It's well shot, and like you said, for what it is, it works, and it's not like it's a bad cast. It's just, to me, like I said, I was held hostage on a flying aluminum tube.
CB, anything positive about this movie whatsoever?
I think that we've probably been too kind to this movie in all honesty up until this point. But, I think it's, time and place. It's like Bridges in Madison County. If I could have gone my life without seeing it, I would have, but I couldn't.
I like Bridges of Madison County. Let's see, what else have we got here? This will be fun.
Hey, Sugar, you looking for a date?
No, I want to find Beverly Hills. Can you give me directions?
Sure. For $5.
I have a business proposition for you.
If you're talking 24 hours a day, it's gonna cost you. You could get 1 million girls free.
I want a professional.
Yeah, you do.
What are you looking at?
Edward's date.
Did you enjoy the opera, dear?
Oh, it was so good, I almost peed my pants.
What?
You and I are such similar creatures that we both screw people for money.
When I was a little girl, I would pretend I was a princess, and then suddenly this knight on a white horse with these colors flying would come charging up and rescue me.
All right, I watched this movie for the first time this week. I have plenty of notes. H-Bomb's got passionate thoughts about it. CB, will you go first, please, and tell us your thoughts on 1990s Pretty Woman, directed by Gary Marshall?
I am happy to go first. I actually rewatched this week. The last time I saw it actually was the only previous time I had seen it with the then girlfriend who insisted I had to watch it. And here's what I'm going to say about Pretty Woman, is that it's like, I hate jazz music. I can't listen to it at all. And if you presented me with the best jazz music album, the best jazz album, I'm going to assume Miles Davis is on it. I would be like, okay, sure. That is very proficient. That checks all the boxes for what makes a jazz album. This is the gold standard for rom-coms. This is borderline a perfect rom-com. That is not my favorite choice in genre of film. I do think that the cast is good. There's some surprises in here. I forgot how great Hector Elizondo is, and that they managed to make George Costanza seem even more rapey than he did on TV. Congratulations, Gary Marshall. You did it. The most baffling thing is, and you could see it in this trailer, Richard Gere is a fine actor. He underplays this character so much, and it's so paint by numbers. He's like, well, I'm so distracted by business. Do you have did you have a better relationship with my secretary than you did with me? Yeah, she was one of my bridesmaids. And I was like, there was
hilarious, fucking hilarious.
Fucking home run, Gere, home run. Your gerbil clapped extra loud on that one. Yeah, that's how many minutes it took for me to reference the gerbil.
Yeah, I saw that.
That are apparently not true, allegedly. But listen, if I mean, obviously, my wife loves this movie. I have known many women who love this movie, and I can understand why. Now, you don't want to grab the jeweler's loop and zoom in too far and look too closely at the movie because, from their first meeting, the whole thing falls apart. But I do think that for the fairy tale story that she mentions in the film and in the trailer, they do a good job of telling it that, yes, whores, you too can end up with your white knight, not just paying you.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, one day. So it's so far from my favorite movie. I do love the soundtrack that screams, hey, look, it's 1990, Roxette. And that I Want to Be Rich song in the beginning. But I cannot say that this is a bad movie. This is possibly the best rom-com. It's just, it's not really a movie for me. It never has been.
H-Bomb, cut loose. Save me some meat.
Here we go. I agree. I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't think it's badly made. I think the cast is good. My biggest problem with this movie CB just talked about it, and that is the way that it was received and even somewhat packaged as some kind of modern day fairy tale, where we have a Snow White character. Snow White was a whore, and she meets Prince Charming, and it was also the other problem I had was the incredible celebration of being vapid, that she would have had no interest in this fucking guy if he wasn't rich. Like, that's it. And the way that, so many women and young girls embrace this as something to shoot for. And, this is something that is to look up to. And I'm going to give you an example of this. So I was at an event, it was a school event, and there was a mother in front of me. She had her daughter, and it was around this time, and her daughter was wearing the brown dress with the white polka dots and the hat. The mother deliberately dressed her daughter this way, so the daughter will get attention because the mother is living vicariously through the daughter. And the mother, it was one of those, like in Seinfeld, when the woman kept saying to Elaine, I've lost my fiancé. Where is my fiancé? All this woman kept saying over and over was, so many people have told me today she looks like Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman. And it just repeated and repeated and repeated to a point where I had actually gotten a few in me. And I said to her, I said, can I ask, is your daughter a hooker? Right? And she looked at me all aghast. I said, well, you know, that's what Pretty Woman was about, right? Like, it's the whore with a heart of gold. So are you telling everybody you're proud that your daughter's a hooker and she cleans up nice? And that woman was so affronted. And I'm like, not half as affronted as me having to stand here for the last 30 minutes and listen to this bullshit over and over and over again. It was pathetic. And that's my problem. This celebration of being vapid. Is vapidity a word? Is that the word?
I think it should
vapidness,
be.
vapidity. I was going to ask the same
Vapidity?
question. I got a comment on vapidity too. Go ahead.
You know, it's all consumer. And again, he's writing the checks and he's throwing the money. I mean, what was the original title of this movie?
3,000.
3,000, right? So if he wasn't able to pay her fee in the beginning, would she have had any interest in him? So for me, it's more the message and not even the message. It's how people constructed a message to receive and make it acceptable and tried to refashion this rom-com, which is what it is, into some kind of modern day fairy tale. And I don't buy it. And I think it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid. And I would rather, I think, be punched in the face for 90 minutes than watch this again.
You know, that could be arranged. And by the way, you know, we were talking before we started, H-Bomb and I don't know why you didn't tell this part of the story, but the little girl from your anecdote, she grew up and then she showed up, you know, decades later at a party where her daughter was dressed like Honey Boo Boo. So you see, it's the circle of life that you just can't stop perpetuating.
Honey Boo Boo.
All right, you gentlemen have covered most of it very well. However, I do have much more to say about this terrible movie. It's a terrible movie. It's a girls' movie. Yeah, I want some benefactor, some dude to buy me nice stuff so I don't have to work.
Right.
It's got an interminably dull first act. Real quick on the subject of vapidity. CB, you used to work for Dennis Miller, one of the greatest comic minds of our generation. Wasn't it he that called the lifestyles of the rich and famous Karl Marx's worst nightmare? Or am I confusing him with somebody else?
I actually think he may have referred to it as that. I can't say that he ever said that to me, but that definitely sounds like him.
I want to say that was in his act, but I could have him confused with somebody else.
But that's just your opinion. You could be wrong.
Vapidity. In terminal. Now, one thing I disagree with you, CB, is it's not the perfect rom-com because there's no calm. Where's the calm? There's no laughs in this movie. All right, maybe most of it is people gasping and clutching their pearls over this broad who's dressed a little slovenly. There's so much of that. It's like, give it a rest.
It's in the trailer. The opera was so good she almost peed herself. And I would say that Laura San Giacomo is actually funny in this movie.
And I would pork her. I'm a fan of Laura Giacomo.
She has huge cans.
I like Mediterranean women. You know, they're hairy. Thank you for mentioning her. She's in my notes. Good actress. I find her very
I feel
attractive.
like the title of her sitcom, Just Shoot Me, was because she knew what I was doing while I was watching her show. Thank you. Good night.
Well, we are simpatico. The two leads have no spark.
They're really not good together. I'm just interrupting because it's like shocking to rewatch it and you go like, there's not that great chemistry. Like, he's better in many other movies, and I'm not a huge Julia Roberts fan, but she's better than this in maybe everything except Mystic Pizza.
You want to know what people should do? Go watch Arthur. Go watch Arthur from 1981.
But not Arthur 2 on the Rocks.
No.
Arthur. Okay, that's this movie done right. Even though he picks up a hua at the beginning, he drops her off, but he still goes after a broad of what do you call it? Lower breeding, Liza Minnelli there.
Yeah.
But that movie has genuine laughs and heart. Also, the humor is not dumb. It's not for dummies. It's smart.
No, I mean, that movie, Sir John Gielgud is just his delivery. You know, it's like, I'll alert the media. You know, just the way he said, like, literally everything he says is funnier than even anything in this movie. So, yeah, I agree.
Dudley Moore is hilarious. I mean, what are you going to watch? Dudley Moore or fucking Richard Gere, a walking corpse, you know? I will say this about Richard. Yeah, I've never had any use for Richard Gere. You gentlemen can comment on this. He never did anything for me. I think the only movie where I don't mind him is Primal Fear from 1996, I think. Primal Fear. Yeah. But that film had a great script and a great director. And it was Ed Norton's movie anyway. So he didn't get in the way. He was fine. Officer and a Gentleman was a big hit. He was fine in that.
Yeah, he's fine in that.
Cotton Club. At least Coppola didn't put Matt Dillon in the movie again. No Mercy, Final Analysis. Yeah, he doesn't do anything for me. H-Bomb, what's your thoughts on Richard Gere as an actor? Does he appeal to you?
No, he again, I agree with you. He's just kind of vanilla. I did enjoy him though in what was it Primal Fear? With the one where he was the cop. He's a
lawyer. Oh, Internal Affairs. Internal
Affairs.
That was fine. That was fine.
Yeah, that was fine. That one surprised
Anyone
me.
could have played the role, but it was fine.
Yeah, I know, but it was nice to see him at least step out of his mannequin, duality there and just try something.
Yeah, he got some good notices for that. Also, the whore's got no pimp. So right away, you know it's fantasy. Also, commit to the premise. There's no nudity in it. Julia Roberts, she's young, she's cute, that's fine, but she never did nudity. If she'd have just whipped out a full bush, she'd have my respect without measure. But that would never be. What are your thoughts, gentlemen, on the director Gary Marshall? A lot of bland movies. I cite only 2 of his movies that I enjoy. Overboard, starring the great Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, and Young Doctors in Love. Gentlemen, Gary Marshall, your thoughts? H-Bomb, go ahead.
I really don't have a lot of thoughts. Again, I agree. I saw Young Doctors in Love in the theater, and specifically, I think I mentioned this before, that what stood out to me more was the trailer for Jaws 3D on the front of that. But otherwise, he didn't really make much of an impression on me, no.
CB, Gary Marshall?
This is one of those rare showbiz moments where what you can say is that his sister is so much more talented than he is.
As a
Penny
director?
Marshall, yes. Penny Marshall,
Okay.
well, you know what? And as an actor. But Penny Marshall made some of the greatest movies of the 80s, and Gary Marshall did not. And, she made at least more watchable rom-com in Sleepless in Seattle, just that alone. But, League of Their Own is a borderline perfect movie, and not just because John Lovitz is in it.
Okay. Yeah, Young Doctors in Love, not a great comedy. It's fun. It's got a good cast, but I never got a lot of laughs in it. I'm
sorry, and I meant to mention, Gary Marshall directed one of the worst movies that any of us will ever see.
Exit to Eden?
Yep. Starring Rosie O'Donnell. And that's
Dan
already
Aykroyd
a problem. And Dan Aykroyd. Yeah.
Iman.
And they did reshoots on this movie. So there's a point where they go back into somewhere and Rosie's fat again. And then she comes out and she's skinny again. That's the funniest thing in the movie.
She was skinny? You saw the movie?
No. Yeah. Look, I had a soft spot for Dan Aykroyd. I saw a movie he did with Gene Hackman called Loose Cannons.
Loose Cannons. Directed
by
by Bob Clark.
Yeah, at one point was the worst movie I'd ever seen in the theater. That's been surpassed long ago, but at that point, that certainly was.
Never saw Loose Cannons, and you've reinforced the reason why I don't want to. Why would I want to hurt myself? Now, real quick on Exit to Eden, I heard there's a lot of nudity, like Dana Delaney gets naked in it. Was there any of that? Anything good?
I feel like I'd remember if it was.
Somebody told me.
Can we say fappable on this show? if it was fap worthy, I feel like I would remember. But
right.
It's been, let's just say it's been a minute, So.
All right. The score is by James Howard. He's got a middle name, but we don't do middle names anymore. I don't like him as a composer. The score is nothing, but the songs are the most annoying. I think CB, you already mentioned the songs. I hate all the songs. Pretty Woman is a terrible song.
Well, at least they should have used the Van Halen version.
Yeah.
At least make it a little bit more fun for us.
I can't stand Halen. But
Jesus, what
they suck. All right, the guy can play guitar really well. Now write a song that I can fucking listen to.
Well,
all right?
Roth was a showman, not a frontman.
They suck. Give me Megadeth, Iron Maiden, anything but fucking Scorpions. I'll take over.
I don't want to discount the work of Roy Orbison. Crying is an amazing song. This is not his best.
Well, let me finish. Yeah, I like how David Lynch used his songs in both Blue Velvet,
Candy Colored Clown. Yeah,
and A candy-colored clown they call the
Yeah,
Sandman tiptoes through my room every night.
Dean Stockwell beats the shit out of somebody while he listens to that song. I love
that. He used the Orbison song in Mulholland Drive. Some lady sang a cover. I got no problem with Roy Orbison, but that's a shit song, man. I fucking can't stand it. It's for dumb people. This movie is for dumb people. Like I said, smart people will watch Arthur. Stay away from this. All right, I'll finish up here real quick. Hank Azaria's film debut.
He has such a small part in this that we could have spent some more time with him. That should have been the movie. A dead whore ends up in a trash can, and Hank Azaria is on the case. I kind of want to go follow that movie, but we don't get a chance.
Another good horror movie I recommend, Clute. Go watch Clute. It ain't a comedy. It ain't a comedy. The script by J.F. Lawton did very well with this, who would go on to write Under Siege. Fun action movie, Under Siege.
I'm just a cook.
But J.F. Lawton also wrote a 1994 samurai movie called The Hunted, starring Christopher Lambert.
Oh my gosh!
And Joan Chin, which is a good action movie.
The Highlander starred in this movie.
The Hunted, 1994. It's similar to 1983's The Challenge, directed by Frankenheimer, starring Scotty Glenn, and the 1975 is the Yakuza. The Caucasian goes to Japan, all of a sudden he becomes a samurai in a couple of weeks. I'll finish up here. Ralph Bellamy's final role. At least he went out with a hit.
Oh yeah,
went out with a hit. CB, I believe you mentioned Hector Elizondo. Let's watch a quick scene with him because, he is...
he's great in this movie.
He's great. Let's watch Hector Elizondo. I like this actor.
Don't play with me, young lady.
Vivian.
Thank you. Vivian. Well, Miss Vivian, things that go on in other hotels don't happen at the Regent Beverly Wilshire. Now, Mr. Lewis, however, is a very special customer, and we like to think of our special customers as friends. Now, as a customer, we would expect Mr. Lewis to sign in any additional guests, but as a friend, we're willing to overlook it. Now, I'm assuming that you're a relative?
Yes.
I thought so. I'm sending someone over. Her name is Vivian. She's a special guest. She's the niece of a very special guest.
Okay, so in keeping with the fairy tale theme, I guess he's supposed to be some sort of fairy godfather-like character. He's sympathetic and everything, but he's really good. I guess Gary Marshall called him his Lucky Charm. He's in virtually all of Gary Marshall's movies.
Yeah, I think he shows up in some of the later ones that Gary Marshall did. It was like ensemble pieces like Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, and Mother's Day. None of them are particularly good, but it was at least an idea of like, well, I don't know if you want to watch me tell a story for 2 hours, so how about I tell 4 or 5 stories and then they intersect in the middle.
You familiar with the work of Hector Elizondo, H-Bomb?
Oh yeah. Yes, very much. Yeah.
Were you a big Chicago Hope guy?
Oh, no. I did. I watched that show. Yeah. Better than ER. Better than ER. I couldn't watch ER. Chicago Hope.
Well, it's because you were too distracted by Clooney, and he made you feel ways you didn't want to feel. But Hector Elizondo didn't do any of that.
Clooney was dull in that show. I like him in movies.
He's only good in Batman.
Batman. Oh yeah, Batman and Robin. Starring Chris O'Donnell from FriedGreenTomatoes. Real quick, Hector Elizondo, former Columbo villain, and also co-starred with Gere in American Gigolo, which is a lousy movie. No suspense, not sexy. It was a hit, but it's a terrible movie. American Gigolo, H-Bomb?
Yeah, I saw it again. That was an HBO offering, and absolutely is a lousy movie.
It's a good idea, but it's... you familiar with it, CB? I presume.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a great idea as a vocation, being an American Gigolo, but the movie, not so much.
You get to see Gere's prick in that movie. All right. But my favorite Hector Elizondo role, of course, is as Mr. Gray in The Taking of Pelham 123. Blow it out of your ass, Mr. Blue. Taking of Pelham 123, right? Okay. And finally, we'll wrap up here. Another bright spot of this movie is the great Larry Miller.
Yes, yeah, I got to know Larry a little bit, so it was very fun to see him. He perfectly delivers all of those lines where he's like, I'm here, I'm going to take as much money as I possibly can. A different level of being a whore, but yeah, Larry Miller is great in everything, and I'll say that and mean it.
He actually brings something to a movie that has nothing on the page. Here's a real quick Larry Miller
That's
scene.
why when you came in here,
You know what we're going to need here?
from the first.
We're going to need a few more people helping us out. I'll tell you why. We're going to be spending an obscene amount of money in here. So we're going to need a lot more help sucking up to us because that's what we really like. You understand that?
Sir, if I may say so, you're in the right store and the right city, for that matter. Anything you see here, we can do, by the way. Get ready to have some fun, okay? Okay. Mary Pat, Mary Kate, Mary Frances, Tova, let's see it. Come on, bring it on.
Absolutely divine.
Larry Miller, good buddy of mine. Here we are hanging out in front of the Improv there in Los Angeles. Yeah. All right. Final thoughts on this movie, H-Bomb. Anything else you want to mention about Pretty Woman from 1990?
No, just I hope the dingo ate that lady's girl.
The fuck does that mean? All right, that's a Cry in the Dark reference. I don't get it. Which girl? You're still pissed off about that. Still bent out of shape about it.
Oh my God, everybody tells me she looks like Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman. Oh my God, oh my God.
That is pretty creepy. That's like one of them stage moms or something. CB, you have a lot of experience with stage moms. You're in the biz.
You know, but my kids aren't. So a friend of my son's is a showbiz kid, and his stage mom is very delightful and down to earth, and tries to keep her kid the same way. So I don't have that sort of iteration of it. But if we're talking about Julia Roberts and we're talking about her being bad in movies,
please,
I'd just like to remind everyone that Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 13 are watchable. Ocean's 12 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, because in that movie, Julia Roberts' character pretends that she's Julia Roberts. So you've got Julia Roberts pretending she's Julia Roberts, and of course she is Julia Roberts, and it's infuriating. It's not funny. And I think that actually Julia Roberts does a really lousy Julia Roberts impression. That's my opinion.
I thought the movie was cute. I've seen far worse than Ocean's 12. What?
No.
Brad Pitt in there? You don't like Brad Pitt? He's handsome.
Well, go check out Meet Joe Black, and you tell me how much you like.
I have seen. I have it on the shelf over here. 3 hours of Brad Pitt close-ups. Are you kidding? It's delicious.
Well, you have a poster for Legends of the Fall in your foyer, so.
No, but Christmas is right around the corner, so keep that in mind. Okay, gentlemen. I feel dirty. I know you do too. What we need is a palate cleanser.
Let's do it.
I feel much better now. I got to go put on one of the greatest action movies, better than Die Hard, CB.
Well, that's crazy talk.
Listen,
but until you said that, I was on board with you. That reminded me of a time when movies were movies.
You and I have unfinished business.
All right, listen, CB. Next time you and your cronies have a little show where you sit around gushing about Die Hard, how about you have someone on with a dissenting viewpoint? Equal time, just like the politicians, to point out all the parts of that movie that suck.
Comedian Don Jameson hates that movie, so I would pick somebody who's more famous than you.
What?
You understand?
Well, I don't hate it. There's just that baby's ready to tend bar. Shut up.
Listen, if you want to talk about Die Hard 2, you and I probably agree, all right? Because I hate Die Hard 2.
Die Hard 2 is terrible.
Die Hard with a Vengeance is fun, but Die Hard 2 is really bad.
You got a problem with part 2s, don't you? What's your opinion on Jaws 2, CB?
I like Jaws 4 because this time it's personal.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah, that's right, H-Bomb. See, everybody loves Jaws the Revenge. That's the correct title, by the way. CB.
Isn't Michael
Jaws the
Caine
Revenge.
in that, by the way?
Yes.
Oh, is he, and how?
What?
I like that very much.
Go fuck a duck.
Watch Harrison Smith's movie, Slow Burn, free on Rad TV.
It's the Dame Taft Movie Show, hosted by my nephew, Screww.
All right, gentlemen, let's put on our evening gowns and go out and hit some clubs. What do you say?
Oh, yeah.
That sounds divine.